Hey guys, I'm Davey Wavey, creator of the gay erotic website Himeros.tv, and today I am joined by my best friend Matthew Thomas and sex and intimacy coach Finn Dearhart. And today we are talking about our first Himeros.tv short film titled Waiting for Rock. Were you guys confused by the name Rock? Like, did you think it was like waiting for cocaine? Was there any like...
Not at all.
No, I mean, does anyone use the word rock for cocaine anymore, though?
I thought people did. It's a whole new direction for Himeros.
Yeah, I meant like crack rock. No.
Yeah, no.
No, okay, it's Rock Hudson.
That would be a great film.
Let's get started. Himeros Live is sponsored by Himeros.tv. At Himeros Live, we love porn. It can be fun, hot, and arousing, but porn has its limitations, and it certainly is not going to teach you anything about pleasure, connection, or intimacy. That is, until now. Himeros.tv takes everything that you love about porn, but elevates it to a new level by working with a team of talented gay sex experts like Finn to design videos that help you have better gay sex. Join the revolution and save 20% at himeros.tv/pod. That's HIMEROS.tv. Himeros.tv, it's like porn, but better.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it. So what's up, guys?
How are you all?
I'm great. How are you?
It's my last day of being 35.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Sure is. I will officially, as of tomorrow, be in my late 30s.
What time were you? Do you know what time you were born?
I think like 5 a.m. You know how I am. I'm always up early. And I think I popped out of that pussy. Right. Actually, I was a C-section. So I didn't pop out of the pussy at all. I was like, fuck that. It's not one of those.
Your eyes squeezed through a birth canal.
Yeah. How are you, Finn?
I'm good, but before that, like, happy birthday early.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I had plans with Chad to go to this place in Vermont that I like going to for my birthday. It's like a gay bed and breakfast, and I was just gonna go by myself once we broke up, and then this guy Matt, he was just like, you know what? Why don't we celebrate your birthday together? So my bestie is driving up from New Jersey.
He sure is.
And we're gonna have a big gay weekend.
We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a good time.
You excited, Matt?
I am. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, and it wasn't until yesterday that I think I realized it was a gay bed and breakfast, and which I'm excited about. I don't care, but I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. I just know it's going to be a lot of nature, which is not necessarily me, but I don't know the last time. I think the last time I saw Dave was my birthday in December.
Yeah, so it's funny. We talk all the time, and we do this podcast, and we see each other. But yeah, it's been 6 or 7 months since I saw you.
Yeah.
The place is very relaxed. It's gay. It's clothing optional, but I don't think I've ever seen like people walking around naked. But like if you use the hot tub, like you could use the hot tub naked, or you could go hiking naked or something. But we can opt for clothes. I will opt for clothes.
Is it generally, generally kind of most people are naked, or it's
no.
Very few.
Yeah, it's nature. Like nature and nudity are like kind of difficult sometimes. There's little bits and bobs that get caught in briars, and
I have no idea what I'm getting myself into.
Oh my God.
Did you know it's clothing optional?
I know. We're just adding everything to the list. Now it's clothing optional. Okay.
You know what, you're gonna come back there and you're gonna be a total nudist, and it's gonna maybe this whole reaction is because you're like nervous about that.
You need to spend some more time together. You need to get to know me a little more.
I feel like in California, it's like clothing on is the option for people most often.
Yeah. We went for my 30th birthday to Indulge in Palm Springs, which is a clothing optional resort.
Shoot me.
And Matt was beside himself. And that really is clothing optional. Like people get naked. Like there's a pool. Like it's not sex, but it's nudity. And like it's full on. And Matt was like not having it.
No. It's like, this is not what I signed up for.
It's like it's been really good for me to be in environments like that over time. It's taken time to be really more comfortable in them, though, honestly. But it has been good for me.
Yeah, we all bring our baggage to the table. I also don't get naked, and it's not because like I don't want to. It's because I secretly think someone's going to be like taking pictures of my dick and like posting it on Twitter or something.
Right. Totally.
Yeah, it's the downside of being so famous.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wait, but
I'm just joking. Oh my god!
Yeah, but it's a true concern. I mean,
especially
I think famous or not, there's just that stigma of anyone just taking your picture. Like you never know.
Yeah, but like if someone, yeah, I don't want to be like coming out of the pool and it's cold, and my dick all shriveled up, and then it like appears on, some like gossip blog of like, I'm just not ready for that.
No, I get that.
Yeah, because nobody else has cold shriveled up dick ever.
Exactly.
Well, but then they're gonna think that's my listen. I'm single. You need to get laid.
The top end of your spectrum.
Yeah. I'm single. I need to get laid. I need to keep my options open.
Mm-hmm. Dilated.
Mm-hmm. Matt, what did you do for the 4th?
Honestly, nothing. I never even saw the fireworks. I went to a barbecue in the afternoon, and by 8 o'clock, I like passed out on the couch. I woke up at midnight and like crawled upstairs to bed and was like, all right, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need that.
Yeah. I didn't do anything, and it was honestly the best.
Your hotel looks really fancy, by the way, in the background.
Yeah, this is so well.
This is the most basic bitch hotel. Like, I'm glad that the lighting is doing this, but it's just lighting.
You're like an emotional
mural. It's not a Motel 6. You're in New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can't be that bad.
It's okay. I mean, it's all right.
Is it a Category 4 hotel? Category 5?
It's a Category 5.
Okay, good. That's good.
No, actually, it might be a Category 4. I take that back.
Oh, she's slumming it.
Oh my god.
We totally went to bed at like 8 too, by the way. I think.
Did you?
I think we did. Don't you think?
Well, it was July 4th. We were in Sweden still. I think we recorded this podcast maybe on the 4th.
Mm-hmm. We did.
Yeah. And it was our last day. So yeah, I think we crashed early because we had to get up at like crack of dawn to bus everyone to the airport. Oh my God, I have a funny story that I haven't shared. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to think how I want to put this. So I think, it's very nice if you live in a world where like other people can shoulder your responsibilities for you. Like if Finn and I hadn't set our alarm clocks, we would not wake up, right? Or like no one's going to wake us up. But like if Angel, one of the models that we worked with, was so funny and so sweet and very cute. But he kind of just he's like a little puppy to have around. And I woke him up in the morning when we were leaving because he hadn't set his alarm or anything. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll get up and pack my bag. So he did. And we're driving to the airport. We had to stop at McDonald's to get some breakfast. And I'm just like a mother hen. I'm like, does anyone need to pee? Like everyone go pee. Everyone goes pee except for Angel. He said, doesn't pee. 10 minutes into the car, he's like, I need to pee.
Mm-hmm.
So
give him a bottle.
and it's like an emergency. It's not like I need to pee and I can hold it for an hour. It's like I need to pee and it's coming out. So we found a rest stop. We pull over and we stop the car and he's just like still on his phone. and we're like, Angel, we're at the rest stop. And he's like, oh, okay. And he like looks up and he jumps outside the car, runs over to a bush and pees. And I wasn't even going to say anything. Like we had pulled over to a rest stop. We had pulled over to a bathroom. And he gets back in the car and Dan was driving the director and he was like, The bathroom's like right there. There's like people like walking around. There's families and children. He just pulls his dick out and pees. Must be nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was
I
good.
kind of like doing that though. Like, you don't pee on the side of the road when you're driving when there's not not a bathroom available.
Sure. Like if it's an emergency, but I mean, we like purposely found a spot for him to pee so that he could like use an actual toilet. But
he was also sick too. He wasn't kind of in his right mind, right?
Don't stick up for him.
No, remember he was like walking around. He actually came into my room and was like, "Do you have any medicine?" And I was like, "No, I don't have any medicine." He was like wanting some like first flu. I'm like,
yeah, we did go to
you two have a
market.
crush.
On who?
What's up?
I feel like you two have a little bit of a crush. Like just looking at the two of you as you're talking about him, it's like I'm just sitting back like, oh really? Oh really? Oh really?
My porn star crush, I think Angel's very sweet, but he's not my porn star crush.
Even though a little bit. No.
Okay,
never mind. Moving on. Angel was out.
You missed it.
Yeah.
Completely missed the story.
We did get him medicine.
Inappropriately peeing and asking for medicine at bedtime when I didn't have any medicine.
That doesn't do it for you?
No.
Wait, I thought you liked the inappropriate peeing. You just said you were just relating to it.
Oh, I mean, like peeing on the side of the road. I do like if you're on a road trip and like just the open air and the sun on my dick like that. Yeah, it feels good.
Did he like inappropriately pee all week? Like,
oh my God. Moving on.
What happened?
Moving on.
I love it.
Hey, I have some big news.
Oh my God.
I have something that actually matters to share. I installed a hammock in my house.
Goodbye.
Oh, that's cool. In your house.
Yeah. Did you not see the pictures?
Mm-mm.
I posted on Instagram. Here, I'm going to send you guys. I took my birthday picture for Instagram. That's going to go up tomorrow. I'm going to send it to you. There's two options we're going to pick from, actually. We'll do it right now. Tell me which one you like better. But yeah, I have a hammock in my kitchen. It's between my office and my kitchen. It was the best idea I've ever had. It's also the worst idea I've ever had because like anytime I lay in it, I just like instantly fall asleep. I've been doing like conference calls while in the hammock. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
the second one.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Definitely the second one.
The second picture?
Yeah, the second one's really, really cool.
The first one, yeah.
The first one, the first one looks like your neck was straining a little bit, like you would fall back.
Like you're falling, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything for the right angles. You sometimes you have to, yeah. All right. I sit in the hammock. I can see my TV, so I've been watching like Stranger Things and Handmaid's Tale. Do you guys watch Stranger Things?
I haven't seen it.
Are you watching?
I never seen anything.
I have not made time for season 3 yet, but I am.
Okay.
I've seen 1 and 2.
Season 3 is better than season 2.
Thank God.
It's a concerted effort for me to watch anything. Like I have to orient towards it, think about it. Like it's just not in my habit, so I just don't see stuff very often. Is it worth it?
Stranger Things? No, I don't think so. I don't think you would like it. I think you should watch Handmaid's Tale if you haven't seen that. I think you would.
I do want to see that. That's been on my list for like a year, but I'm
Is that Netflix?
It's Hulu, and season 3 is like midway through right now. The only thing I don't like about it is from they use a storytelling device of like, it's this like repressive regime, and like everyone's like super religious, and the women have no rights and no voice. They'll there's characters that you really hate, and they'll like show you some aspect of them that makes them very like human, and you like start to feel for them a little bit, and then just as your heart cracks open a little bit, that character will like do something horrible and like make you hate them. They just like to take you on this emotional roller coaster, and it gets a little. It just gets a little bit much at a certain point. It's also too close to home. Like they started this obviously before Donald Trump was president, but as you see like women's rights being attacked, as you see LGBT people, especially transgender rights, being attacked, it just feels like, even the stuff I've been seeing on YouTube with censorship, it just feels like we're stepping into The Handmaid's Tale. And I think 2 episodes ago took place in Washington, D.C. And there's this really dramatic shot of the Washington Monument, but they've put it like a cross beam across. So basically they turned the Washington Monument into a cross. And it's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, I want to see it. Sounds really amazing.
They actually filmed it on the Mall in Washington, D.C. And part of it takes place in the Lincoln Memorial, but they've like blown up the statue of Lincoln in it, and like it's pretty dramatic. It sticks with you. So yeah. Anyway, speaking of boyfriends, as we were speaking about boyfriends earlier, I found something yesterday that I thought was really interesting that I wanted to share. I found this old notebook that I have, and I opened it up, and I had written in it the day after my last relationship ended. So like 3 years ago when I broke up with Jake. And I wrote down, I titled this page, Things That I Learned from My Relationship. And I wrote down the 2 things, my 2 lessons that I learned. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is going to be depressing, because I bet I've made these like same mistakes like all over again in my most recent relationship. And the good news is that I hadn't. I think I feel like I've learned something, and I took it to heart. So this is what I wrote after dating Jake for 2.5 years. By the way, we were together for a long time. So here's lesson number 1. When you're upset, being distant never makes you feel better. It's connection that you want. So kiss, cuddle, lean in instead of pulling back. That was an important lesson. Because when you have that moment where you get like jealous about something, or and instead of like
being vulnerable,
yeah, you just kind of like pull away, and you never feel better after you pull away.
No. Yeah, but it's like, it feels like a good option kind of at the time. It's just like really hard to lean in, like you were saying. But if you can, it does feel good, huh?
Yeah. We had that happen to, I mean, it'd be like me scrolling through my Instagram feed, and like I see a cute boy, and I like the picture, and then like Jake gets upset and jealous, and so he makes himself unavailable. But what he really wants is to feel like loved and connected. And so that was a big takeaway. And then my second one, and I feel like I've done that. My second one is define a relationship structure that works for you and not based on what society tells you it should be. I mean, it's very basic, but like here I'm pointing at an open relationship. And I feel like I really built on that open relationship, at least the communication aspect of it with Chad. I feel like this last structure I had really did work for me, even though it's not, what you see in Disney or modeled in TV and whatever. So those were my 2 lessons. And then so yesterday I was like, I should write down the things that I learned with Chad. And I wrote, hey, I'm getting good at this. Meaning relationships. I think I'm improving over time. So my big takeaway is that the next person that I date, whenever that happens, and Lord knows I'm not in any rush, I think for me at this stage in my life, what I want is someone that's in a similar place, like a similar level of like stability and kind of on their journey. Like someone that's maybe 30 years old or 35 years old, gasp. Because so many of the guys that I've dated have been so much younger. And I want to date someone closer to my age, but still have sex with younger guys. So like that would be the thing. All right, I'm going to date a 35-year-old. I'm still going to fuck 20-year-olds, but that's going to be something that we talk about and allow. And then my second thing that I learned with Chad was, and Matt and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, is I want to be with a guy who wants me rather than a guy who needs me. I feel like a lot of the guys that I've dated that have been a lot younger have needed me, and I think that's kind of like my crutch. It gives me like that comfort knowing that person, regardless of if they want me, they need me. And so that means that they're going to keep me in their life. And if he doesn't need me, then I would only be there because he wants me. And like sometimes I don't think highly enough about myself to think that a guy would want me. So if I can't give him something, that's hard to say.
I bet it feels good to say too, though. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it feels good to say. But
We just can't argue with our patterns, though, So it's like if you say it and you're aware of it, then the change can happen versus like round number, 86, 87?
Yeah, honestly.
Sometimes it sucks so bad to say out loud the truth.
When I said that yesterday on the phone to you, Matt, I like almost started crying. Do you remember that conversation?
Oh, yeah, because in a lot of ways, you and I lead a very similar life. Like we're not that different from one another. It's funny for two people that see each other a couple times a year but talk every day, like we have a lot of the same issues. And we approach relationships completely differently, but are constantly faced with the same challenges. So I get it. And we kind of realized it together. But as uncomfortable as it is, like, I realize in doing this podcast, like people can relate to this. I guarantee you someone's listening to this right now and is like, those are the words I was trying to find to explain how I feel. So there's value even beyond our growth. We're helping other people grow. So
there's absolutely people that are going to feel the same way. I mean, that's a very ubiquitous, experience after having childhoods where we didn't get what we needed. So if somebody else can fill that space for us, it's easy to. I mean, I feel like I learned that in my last relationship too. Like I really desired and enjoyed how much that relationship felt like I was, I don't know, in control of it, or it gave me a lot of false sense of security and confidence, but it was like it to me really badly. So I got that after that relationship. It was like I don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah, I've been doing it for
I want to be my own daddy.
Yeah, I've been doing it my entire adult life. And I think like part of my effort to date someone my own age is to tap into that, like someone that actually wants me. But even if I'm with someone that wants me, it's still not going to solve the fundamental issue there, which is that like sometimes like I don't feel like I'm like desirable or that someone would want me. And like I can get with someone that is closer to my age, but I'm still not treating the root issue there. And like how do you learn to see yourself as desirable and lovable and worthy of that's a hard question to answer, right?
It's existential, it's like the human experience, because a lot of people don't really, I mean, not everybody's willing or able to answer that question or to wrestle with it, but there isn't really a true answer. It's more of a paradox. It's like, how good you get at being compassionate about yourself and letting go of expectations of ourselves and just being honest. And, when we do that, then other people that are in that same space are much more attractive to us than they used to be if we're like kind of caught up in like the images of what we're trying to be or what we think is, these power assumptions. And I think after wrestling with some of those questions more, I think when we see people that aren't really in that inquiry deeply, they're less attractive to me. Because I'm like, well, how the fuck are you dealing with the stuff that I'm trying to deal with? And if you're not even asking the question, I don't know that we can even like connect, and you're going to fuck me over. The fear. Yeah.
And then also when you're like participating in social media, like in the way that I do for my job, and like people like, I don't know. I like the pictures I just sent you that I'm going to post for my birthday, like me in the hammock, I'm like shirtless and like, all in my underwear and stuff. Like, how does that fit into that? Like when I post that picture, I still don't feel better about myself. Like, and in fact, it makes me focus on the things that like actually make me more insecure and like it's and I feel like I need to continue a social media presence. Maybe I can change the way that I portray myself, but like by virtue of the work that I do, I need to continue to engage with my audience to get things like this podcast out there, people joining Himeros.
It's funny that you brought up that picture because the second picture, like the one that Matt pointed out too, is I thought that was really handsome of you, and your feet look sexy. You like that.
I do.
Yeah, he blushes.
Just include my feet in there. Yeah. I mean, I used to actually Photoshop. Well, we talked about this before, but like I used to Photoshop my body in like pictures that I would post.
Oh wow!
It's just like so destructive. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'd stopped doing that like 2 years ago, and I think like I already go to the gym a lot, and I think like as muscular as I am, like my body could already be triggering for someone. And I don't need to further like enhance that by making my body something that's not even obtainable for myself,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, look what I ordered from Amazon.
Is that the pore thing? Thing for the pores?
Girl, it's a nipple sucker.
Oh, see, I'm way off. Never mind.
You might be able to use it for your pores.
I thought it was like a foreskin stretcher.
Oh my God.
So you put your nipple in it, okay, and it looks like a medieval like device, and then you go like this, and it suctions your titty out.
Hell no.
And so you want your nipples to extend and grow?
It elongates your nipple.
Yeah, I don't want that for myself. I just enjoy the sensation of my nipples being sucked on.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Ain't nobody sucking on my nipples. So, so there's this.
Does it make your nipple longer though?
I think if you use it excessively, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, you might just really get into it.
I'm gonna have these giant.
It's kind of it's a thing for some people.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when is that going down? Have you used it yet?
Yeah, I used it today, actually.
Did you like it? I
did like it. Yeah, I'm just afraid to keep it on for too long because I really do think it's going to stretch my tits out.
Yeah. Oh, it will.
Can I use it on and I also think it's kind of like made for women's tits because it's a pretty big opening.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The areola.
My entire areola. If I did this to my belly button, would it become an outie, do you think?
Oh my God, try it. Bring it this weekend.
Okay.
Bring it this weekend. I'm excited about y'all's weekend. I can't wait to hear about it.
It's gonna be so much fun.
You're gonna have so much fun. I think if you just like let go and be running around naked, you're gonna have a good time, Matt.
Cool.
I've never even seen Matt shirtless, let alone naked.
Oh my God. I
don't even think I've seen you in like a sleeveless shirt.
What is this?
Oh, wow. Are you a Pentecostal?
This is we'll talk about this, but this is a conversation for another podcast. It's way too long. Way too long.
Jehovah's Witness.
Exactly right. And you have seen me in short sleeve shirts for sure.
No, I said sleeveless. You still have
seen me in a tank top.
No, I have not.
You totally have.
Girl, when have you ever had a tank top on?
You need to wear a tank top.
I have two here with me.
Do it. Put it on.
Go get one.
Put it on.
Moving on.
Put it on, Matt.
Is it a tank top, like an undershirt tank top?
No. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. I have never seen him in anything less than the
boundaries. He's going to be running around. He's going to be a nudist.
I remember when Matt visited me in Washington, D.C. when I was just after school. And he came to visit me and he was wearing a 3-piece suit and it was like 95 degrees outside.
Wow.
Because I came from work. I didn't have time to change. I was trying to make time before traffic.
Do you remember that?
But that suit looked damn good, didn't it?
Well, except for that you were like dripping sweat.
No, it's not. It was not like that. Don't clown me out like that. I was not dripping in sweat. I was fine. But I came in, I changed, whatever. Moving on, guys. Moving on.
Houston with a little like handkerchief.
Oh my God.
and a fan.
Are you gonna get naked for the hot tub?
What hot tub?
I literally texted you earlier today to tell you that they have a wood powered, like a wood stove powered hot tub.
Yeah, when we hang up, I have to go get myself like some more like athletic stuff to wear this weekend because I just didn't pack well. But don't worry, I'll have some stuff.
Y'all could be each other's like first time naked buddies though.
First time? What do you?
Be like, I'm here with you. I'm holding your hand. I'm a little nervous.
Anyway.
I've actually hiked naked there. I've hiked naked there before, so I can do it.
I'll stop instigating.
He's not going to get naked unless he's bringing some really strong drugs with him. He's not going to get naked.
Well, are we allowed to talk about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
We are. I'm bringing. What are they? Weed gummies? Is that what they're called? Is that what the word is?
Are you asking me?
I don't know if that's the word, but I'm picking them up right after this too.
How many milligrams of THC is in each one?
The fuck if I know? We'll eat like a piece and we'll just build.
Okay.
I'm told they're strong.
Then we're having small pieces.
The last time that I had any of that shit was at least 2 years ago. No, a year ago.
Eat a weed gummy with you two. Y'all are hilarious.
Yeah. But we've never done anything like this before. So it's like, let's just try something different.
I've been high like 5 times in my life. Like I'm not a regular.
Which I really don't believe. Like I can't imagine this.
You don't even think I've been high 5 times?
No, I don't even think you know. I don't know. Like the way that you described that you were high, I was just like, was he really high though?
I ate a cookie in I was in Palm Springs. I had a cookie, shared it with Jake, and my friend there gave it to me. A realtor had found like a bag of them in a freezer, and there's like 3 bags. And anyway, I got one of the bags and I ate it. And then a couple days later, my friend was like, "Oh, I hope you threw that bag out." Turns out those cookies have LSD in them. So not only have I been high, I've tripped on LSD.
What happened?
So how was that? How was that for you?
I was lying in my bed with Jake, and I was like, "This isn't even fun." I was like, I was at a river, like I was seeing things. It was just, it was really not fun. It was like way high. Yeah, it fucked me up for an entire weekend.
Oh yeah, that sounds intense. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I do think. What?
Unless you have anything profound to say, let's move on.
I mean, are you even questioning that?
It's super profound. Are you high right now?
No, I mean, I think it's a mindset, you know, like I honestly believe truly that those kinds of substances force our hands into a state of mind that depending on how you spend your time or circumstances, it's going to like define the experience that you have. So if you took LSD in a situation where you were knowing that's what you're taking and had a reason for it and took the right amount, it would be a different experience than being like surprised and maybe having too much and overwhelmed, like, I do things like that periodically for a reason, but not just for the sake of it. And definitely not socially. That's really awkward for me. I'm already socially awkward enough. So
we should do a Himeros TV retreat, the 3 of us. Like
naked.
Okay. You're gonna get naked, Matt? You gonna get naked?
Why not?
You suggested it. There's a part of him that really wants to.
I actually wasn't serious, but whatever. I'm 35.
What's the retreat idea? Like what?
Yeah,
what do you mean? Retreat?
I don't know. Like we could all get together and we've never all been together in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
And like plot things out about like what we want to explore through this content and like set some goals and intentions for the next year or 2.
I'm totally down for this.
Yeah, totally.
And we can send the invoice to himeros.tv and have a nice little trip. Maybe pick somewhere nice to go to, like Hawaii or something.
Well, if we're gonna do this, I think you should let me plan the trip. I'll send the bill to Himeros. I'll put a good trip together.
She's gonna put some Category 6 hotels.
6? How about 8? You aiming too low.
I love it.
All right, let's talk about
That's how trashy I am. I don't even know about the categories. I'm like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, I only know about it because of Matt, because he's bougie and
whatever. You know, I'm just trying to heal with your bougie ass. You're bougier than I am.
You're just counting your points.
You counting them Amex points too.
Platinum for life.
Anyway, moving on.
All right, let's talk about Waiting for Rock. This is our first true short film. I guess I would describe it as. It was written by Travis Matthews, who is best known for Interior Leather Bar, the film that he did with James Franco. I'm name dropping here, and Waiting for Rock is directed by Matthew Lin, who has an upcoming Amazon series called Triads. The film features Max Adonis and Wesley Woods, and at the very end, there's a cameo by me. Did you guys make it to the end and see my cameo?
We heard your cameo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think I'm going to get a nomination?
Girl, it was a good try.
That was great. I didn't think it was good. Actually, at first I didn't even recognize that it was you, and then I was like, "Oh, that's Davey." Yeah.
Did you think it was a woman? You did, huh?
I did. But it was just like a moment. Did you think it was?
No, not at all. But the thing is, I saw the leg and I was like, wait, is he gonna be in this? Because I heard your voice and I was like, are they gonna show his face? And then hearing that voice, I'm like, I really hope that they showed you, because I was like, what the fuck is he wearing with this southern accent? Like, it was just because you had these white pants on. And I
had white linen pants, and you didn't see the shoes. I was so annoyed because I bought these fucking shoes on eBay. They were 1950s Italian leather, these like fancy ass expensive shoes. You don't even see them.
Yeah. It was funny. It was really funny.
I honestly didn't. That's why I didn't recognize your voice. I knew. I was like, that sounds like that.
You're like, who is she? I told him to deepen my voice in post production to like turn down the pitch or something. So it'd be. I'm like, hey y'all, you played a backseat bingo. I don't know. It's some script that I had to do. I thought I did a great job.
You did good. I mean, you talked about it, and I didn't expect it, but I remember you had mentioned it before, so that's what made me actually realize it was you, because I didn't even recognize your voice, to be honest. It sounded disguised.
So a few things before we get started in this conversation. If you guys want to see this, we actually created a YouTube friendly version of the film, including my cameo. It's on my YouTube channel. If you search "Waiting for Rock" gay film on YouTube, it will pop up. The YouTube version doesn't have as much obviously the explicit sex is cut out of it. If you want to see the explicit version or even a preview of it, you'll have to go to Himeros.tv. You can watch the preview there, or you can join to see the full video. Mm-hmm. So here's the backstory. Mm-hmm. Just to take this to the 30,000 foot level. Years ago, there was an auction in Pasadena for this older guy that had passed away. It was like an estate sale, and he was involved in politics, and his family was selling his portrait. So some guy from Palm Springs was there, and he bought the portrait because he wanted the frame. So he said to the family afterwards, he's like, look, I'm not going to use the portrait. I'm just going to throw it out. Do you guys want to at least save the portrait of your grandfather? I'm just going to take the frame. And they were like, yeah, okay, cool. So he cut open the back of the frame, and when he did, all these vintage erotic photos came out, like all these black and white pictures of from Palm Springs of boys, men engaged in various acts. And I don't know, no one really knows what the story is. Did the man who passed away, was he secretly closeted and he took those pictures? Did he buy them? Were they someone else's and they stashed them there? But the man who bought the frame, he has an art gallery in Palm Springs, and so he made a lot of copies of the pictures and he sells them, and you can buy them to this day. So I bought one, and it hangs in my condo in Palm Springs, and it's these two guys lying on the floor listening to records. And I really something about the picture. I love that it's in the 1950s. The picture was taken in Palm Springs. It says Palm Springs on the back of it. So I sent a copy of it to Travis Matthews and asked if he could write a story about it. And I got permission from the storekeeper who owns the copyright that we could actually use the image in our film. So basically the story that Travis wrote is that two escorts get double booked to fuck Rock Hudson. And none of this is true. It's just like we're kind of imagining what could have happened that like led up to this picture. Do you guys even know who Rock Hudson is?
The actor? Yeah.
I'm looking him up right now.
Yeah. I mean, I can't recall anything he's been in, but I know him. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a big actor in the 50s. He was like this really hunky, tall, he's closeted. Like he was closeted in real life. And it's just funny because he's like this physical embodiment of like masculinity, but was actually secretly this like closeted power bottom gay man. And there were a whole bunch of actors that were in a similar boat in the 50s. Tab Hunter was another one. Do you know who that is?
I don't know that one.
He's really cute. Have you guys ever hear of I don't know why I'm like an expert on 50s pop culture, but do you know, I know more about 50s pop culture than I do about like current events. But there was a show in the 50s and 60s called What's My Line?
I do remember that. Yep.
Okay, so I've like fallen into a YouTube rabbit hole. Like once you watch 2 of any video on YouTube, like everything on your recommended homepage is going to be that video, or like other related videos. So I'm like 50 episodes into What's My Line, and it's fascinating because Tab Hunter was one of the guests on it, and he's so obviously like a closeted gay man, and like all the girls are just like swooning and like screaming, and the show, by the way, and I think part of what's fascinating about the 50s culture to me is that it's like super problematic, right? Like the panelists are supposed to guess what the job is of the people that go on the show. And like on the most recent episode that I saw, like the contestant who came on the show was smoking a cigarette like during questioning. Yeah. And if there's like a pretty female that comes on, like everyone in the audience like whistles and they like all hit on her like on the panel. One of the contestants was like in high school and they were like and basically like sexually harassing her. I've only seen
That's not funny.
No, I've only seen one episode where there was a black person. It was a black man, and the first question that he got asked is if he was a basketball player. I mean, it's so problematic.
Wow, that is.
He was like a pilot or something, you know, like it's so problematic.
You know, I was instantly stupid though when you asked, like, do you know who that is? And like Rock Hudson, yeah. He was in Doris Day movies, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I wasn't allowed to watch stuff when I was a kid because of my dad, and so I missed that. I missed the boat on all that.
You also weren't a kid in the 50s. Like it wouldn't have been.
No, I know, but I just didn't get I didn't have the sensibility about like film like a lot of people did. I got into music, like rock and roll music, and I can tell you a lot about that, but not, you know, if you ask me who is even somebody contemporary, I'm often like, who?
Yeah. He's important to know. I mean, he died of AIDS. Like he's a pretty big figure. But it's just funny because when you watch these shows and you see these people from the 50s and like it's entertaining, but you also can't help but think like, okay, like if these panelists knew who I am, like as a gay man, or Matt, like as a black gay man, like they wouldn't let their kids near us. Like they would be so deeply offended by like us by virtue of our existence. So I like watch these shows and enjoy them, but also I'm like, okay, like there's weird.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Did he ever come out, or do you know a lot about his story? Like later on?
I think Tab Hunter came out. I don't think Rock Hudson ever came out while he was alive. So for this film, anyway, we wanted to make it as realistic as possible. So that's why we we set it to be like, okay, there are these two hookers that got double booked to fuck Rock Hudson, and I found a house from the 1950s. Basically, we recreated everything that's in that photo that I had mentioned, like every detail, including purchasing the same records that you see in the photograph. The ashtray is the same. The furniture is really similar. The patterns on the curtain, like the fabric, is the same. Like I was, from a production standpoint, I was really impressed with myself and my ability to recreate that photo. So, little pat on her back. In the video, the first escort that shows up is he's basically a first timer, and the second escort that shows up is Rock's regular. And in the story, the escorts refuse to like identify as gay. In one part, Max asks Wesley, he asks him if he's a homosexual, and he goes, "I'm a professional."
I love that part.
I thought that was good. So, needless to say, there's a lot of back and forth and a lot of anticipation that builds up before they finally have sex, which I think is really fun and makes it interesting. But I am curious, what did you guys think of this?
I loved it. It's one of my favorite ones. Why?
Yeah.
Well, I always really appreciate context on things, like sex in the context of something that's believable and interesting and has more layers to it. And that was hot to me. I love that line that you just quoted, that I'm a professional, and just the idea like that they were maybe like struggling with internalized homophobia and what it might have been like back then. I just was kind of following that trail. I like their chemistry. I think they're really cute. I loved how, I love Wesley's accent, being a fellow Texan. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I thought it was really cool, and stylistically too. It was fun to watch.
Yeah,
I love Matt Lynn's work too. I think he's amazing.
He actually, Matt Lynn is the director. He rented a lens from the 1950s, but affixed it to his like $1 zillion modern camera. But it gave it a sense of like authenticity when you watch it. What do you think, Matt?
I thought it was fun. I mean, I love that it was black and white. And it's funny because after it was over, I was thinking, okay, well, I know he's going to ask me what I think about this. And at no point was I like, why is it still in black and white? Why doesn't it change the color? Like, I was really into, I was into it the entire time. So I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It was good.
That's a lot for you to say, because this thing, it's 22 minutes. Like it's like a short film.
Yeah, it is. I mean, in the beginning, I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, but as it picked up, I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm like, now why is the guy that is Rock Hudson's regular, like, he's kind of like, get out of here, I'm not interested in you, and he's turned off by this other guy. I'm like, how is this going to change and they're actually going to end up being interested in each other? Because at some point something's going to happen, and I'm like, we have 15 minutes left. Okay, let me just wait. Let me wait and see. But it was good. It was good.
And that thing is called whiskey. It was called whiskey. That's what.
Well, it was funny because I will say that the guy that was the regular, I was so surprised that when he's bottoming, it's kind of like that moment where he was like, you have to remember to breathe. And this man who is this professional is like so caught up in the moment, and what's happening is that in essence he forgets to be a professional. And then in my mind I'm thinking, wait, like he's more than just a professional. Like he actually really does want this. And it's not about his clients. Like he's really thinking about himself right now. Like he's having a moment with himself. And I thought it was really well written. There was a lot to take away from it.
And that he was using this like situation as a way to give himself permission to ask for this thing that he really wanted.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when he was like something about, what did he say, gloop in my ass? Like what did he call it?
Yeah, because it was Vaseline.
Yeah.
Goop, gooey.
Goop, something. I was like, not the goop. Get it out.
What did you think of the acting?
I liked the first guy. I thought he was really good and believable. Second guy was all right.
You like Max's acting better than Wesley's.
Yeah, I think Max's acting was a lot more natural.
Max is a really, really good actor. Like that's and that's not to say that Wesley is bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that Max is really, really good. Like he could act in, I think, actual like film stuff. He was the first person that we cast for this. And actually Wesley's role was originally cast to Casey Jacks, who we've talked about before, passed away a few weeks before filming. So we offered up the production like in his memory. We dedicated it to him. And Wesley stepped in like fairly last minute to fill that role. And he really stepped up to the plate. But Finn, did the acting feel good to you? Did it take you out of it?
No, it did. It felt good to me. I mean, I wasn't like having some sort of like high expectation or demanding it. You know, it's not like I'm like, you guys better be like Oscar worthy, or I'm not, you know, so I didn't have that kind of expectations. And I actually, if anything, so much of porn and any kind of narrative that's been shown in that to me in the past has been so bad that it's like
the bar's so low.
It's so low of a bar. I'm like, well, this is brilliant. This is amazing. But I actually I felt like it was, and I liked watching them connect in that way. And that aspect of like what you were saying, like this isn't for your job. This is because you want it. I mean, that's kind of like, I think a lot of guys have probably had the experience too, maybe straight guys telling you something like, you know, I don't want to be with guys, but if I did, you'd be the kind of guy I'd want to be with, or something like to that effect. And that's like the most euphemistic way that they can say I'm attracted to you, or, you know, so I could relate to some of those themes, you know, like I used to go around saying like, oh no, I'm not gay, I'm bi, and I enjoy sharing boyfriends with my wife, and, you know, whatever. I mean, and that was true kind of, but the truth was I was gay. So I could see some of that theme too. And I appreciated the nuance there.
This is a good way to get our whistle wet for all month, the entire month of August. We're going to be watching Journeys, which is a 4-part series. And I think the acting in that is also really good. And it's another narrative-driven project. Do you guys like, you know, because I think for us, we're trying to figure out what's the right balance of different types of content. Do you care that this video wasn't like teaching a technique or some sort of concept? It wasn't showing you like 5 masturbation strokes. Like it was just a story, but like, was that enough for you?
I think that what's so great about Himeros is that Himeros gives you variety. You know, you're not always going to see the same 2 things twice in different videos. So no, I think it's good. I think that you are showing a little bit of everything. It's keeping things interesting, you know?
Yeah. I just think, go ahead. I think about how it like fits into our mission of like, you know, like connecting men with like better sex and intimacy and pleasure. And something like this, I think, is more indirect, and you're kind of exploring like what we're talking about. It works more subtly, right? And talking about permission, giving yourself permission, like exploring a very specific point in time, visiting some of our history and culture. But it's not like you're not going to walk away from it with like a new game to play with your hookup or something.
What I was going to say is if it were strictly a library of that type of material, that would have its own sort of like boredom at some point, I think, truly. Yeah. And then it would be like, oh, I know that site. That's the site with the educational films, you know, only. And I like how it's different a lot. I do. I even like that it's black and white. I think being in black and white was really cool.
But there's also a reality to it too, because I mean, this is how it was in the 1950s. You know, so there is like an educational piece to it of like realizing like there was a time when you couldn't be out, where you couldn't be comfortable. It was behind closed doors, and guys would look at each other and be like, I'm not gay, I'm not a homo, I'm not this. But then they're, next thing you know,
right,
they're all over each other. So I mean, fucking. I mean, there's this history of, you know, denying what it is that we really want, and then we're giving into it because it's who we are. Like I don't know. I still think it in its own way, it is educational. Does it require you to think a little bit more and not just look at it just as, oh, this is just a 20-minute video? Yes, but I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, and I guess the question is like, is there value in knowing that and connecting to that history, and like, is that enough of a value for people to be like, oh yeah, this is worth my membership fee? I guess we'll see.
I guess we will see, but at the same time too, as much as yes, you want to create content that people want to see, you as the person deciding what that content will be, you have to be happy with that too. Like if you like know the message that you're trying to put out there and you like what you are creating, like this is your vision along with directors and writers, you know, this is what you want the site to be. So I think there's a fine line in what the what the viewer wants, but also the message that you want to convey and how you want to convey it.
It is always a dance, like figuring that out. And I was really passionate about creating this. I had a lot of fun bringing this world to life. And I'm really proud of it. I mean, this video took several days to film. We do a video every week on Himeros, and like there's a lot that went into this video. So I hope people appreciate it.
And you've had that picture for how long? You've had that for almost a year.
Probably, yeah. Probably a year. Yeah. Yeah, it takes a while. All right, let's answer some questions from folks. If you guys have any questions, send them to Davey at daveywavey.tv. We probably only have time for one or two. I really want to address this question. Someone wrote in. I've never written in, but I have to express my disappointment with Waiting for Rock. You have a platform that reaches a lot of impressionable people, and yet you've gone out of your way to glorify smoking. One of the characters lights up cigarette after cigarette in a way that is practically comical. I really think you should be ashamed by the way that you've connected smoking to sex appeal. So actually, I do want to note that those cigarettes that he was smoking were from the 1950s. We literally bought an old pack of cigarettes. They were probably like especially cancerous. They were like, they probably don't even have like filters in them. They probably had like black mold growing in them. One of my friends, he actually called me out for, he said, what's unrealistic is not how much the characters are smoking. What's unrealistic is that he flicks his cigarette out before he goes into the house. He would have carried it into the house and continued to smoke and not given a fuck.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to pay that Airbnb cleaning fee.
Right. I'm actually more concerned about glorifying Vaseline, to be honest. I'm deeply bothered with the petroleum, so.
But I don't understand how this person feels that you glorified it. Are you glorifying it by showing someone who's smoking and has their shirt open and is trying to look sexy? Like, is that your way of glorifying it? And by no means are you saying that smoking is okay. And how many times did the person smoke? Like, there was once before he walked in, there was another two more, and there was a time when he was outside by the pool. He never smoked in the house.
Maybe twice, two or three.
Maybe it was 2 or 3 times, like in a 20-minute video for a total of what? 20, 30, 40 seconds. You saw someone smoking?
Like, I mean, I get it. Like, there were shots of him like lighting up the cigarette and like looking all smoldery, where he looked pretty sexy, like smoking on a cigarette. Like, I get it, but it was also, I mean, this is true to the time period. We took so much care in like bringing this world to life. Like, that's how it was.
But there's an assumption to say that it's glorifying it. That's just it's problematic.
And I'm sorry, if someone chooses to smoke at this point, there is a giant warning sign on a pack of cigarettes. We all know what cigarettes do to ourselves. Like, that's someone's choice at the end of the day. That is not, you are not responsible for someone who chooses to pick up a cigarette.
Well, I think they're saying that we're saying like, yeah, like cigarettes might kill you, but they're so sexy. Do it, do it, do it. And I mean, we were bringing this world to life, and that's, it felt like a layer of authenticity that, that made this film feel more realistic to me.
Whoever commented that needs to get out of their feelings. Moving on.
So I'll answer one more question here. I'm going to save the big one for next week. I'm going to skip to question number 3. This person is excited because they've been getting into our podcast, and they're entertaining, and they're not yet a member, but they're thinking about it. Great. So I did want to reach out and see if you had any plans to talk about different kinks, or perhaps even explore chastity. I think the act of chastity and the submission is extremely hot and sensual. I often enjoy being locked up for a couple of weeks. Perhaps it might be a better topic on the podcast. Anyways, thanks so much for all the work that you're doing. It's great. So we haven't explored chastity through, I don't think we've done it in any videos yet. It would be interesting and fun to figure out a way to do that, especially that can show the passage of time, right? That like someone's dick gets locked up for however many days. My ex-boyfriend, Nick, who lives in Toronto, there's a guy at his gym that plays with chastity, and he's like a sub guy, and he's not allowed to take a shower with the door shut. So he has to shower with his door open. And you can see his like chastity lock on his dick that he always wears. I don't know, Finn, write a concept and we'll do it.
So, I mean, that's what's so funny that you say that, because we were just talking about some of this stuff yesterday. I mean, there's so many themes like that because they're so deeply psychological. And even if some guy doesn't like to express like physically with chastity, I guarantee the theme can connect to a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I'm totally down. I love it.
Have you ever played with it, Matt? Chastity?
No, I think it's a cool concept. I think you should do it. I think there's a lot that you could do with it, but I would want to know more from this person too. Like when you're saying that you're like locked up for a couple of weeks at a time, like I just want to know more about that. Like what happens during those couple weeks, and because I know nothing about that stuff, but that does sound interesting.
Have you ever seen a chastity device for the dick?
Never. What does it look? Well, hold on, I'm asking on my phone.
Yeah.
He's like,
You
no.
know what? You can lock up my dick, but you can't lock up my hole.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is I had a friend, I think I told you this in Sweden. I have a friend that his boyfriend loved playing with chastity, and they would go to big parties, and he would just lock him up and say, I'm not taking it off until you get fucked by this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And then he'd do that. And he'd be like, I've decided actually this guy too. And then like, he'd just keep playing with him and wouldn't let him get off until he fulfilled this whole role of, men. And
I think Matt just found the chastity belt.
Because he gasped.
I think it's so fucking cool.
Really?
You new kink girl.
I do actually.
That's awesome.
Look at my nipple sucker.
It's making your hand all distended.
I'm gonna get a nipple on my hand.
Yes.
All right. So next week we're going to talk about a video titled "Man in the Mirror." Finn, where can people find more of you?
At the newly renovated findeerhart.com, FINNNDEERHART.com.
And Matt?
You can find me on Instagram.
or local sex shop buying.
The metal ones. These metal ones are so fucking cool, though. I'm into.
All right.
I'll see you.
This is wonderful.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and as always, more to come.